Hi YouTube friends and Facebook friends. We haven't really done a video showing the completed house. Well, it's not completed, but the house to this stage. We've been in it. We moved in on November 11th of 18, so we've been here 1 year and 2 months. And so I wanted to catch you up on everything, and plus take you in and let you see the inside of the house, so you'll see the progress we're making when we do the mud and tape and get the walls all done and the ceilings. So this is the outside. This is our north side when we pull up. So this is for us the back door. And John did a great awning over the covered the deck for us. And then that's a stovepipe that we didn't need. We got a great deal on stovepipes. So John finished our stovepipe. You'll see that in a minute. I've begun to fill the holes where the nails were on the shiplap. And the plan is to go ahead and paint this. I was thinking we might just have it natural, but it would look like it had measles, so I decided to go without and just paint. Got a little bit of the front, this side, and half of the north side done with that. Then it got cold and I couldn't put any more putty in there. This is the front of the homestead. Our south facing, we're solar passive. So this is all set up so that we can get as much light in during the winter and heat the place up, and it works beautifully. 20 degrees outside, sunny morning. By 10 o'clock, we might have to start opening up some windows. Cloudy, another story. We have to heat a little bit with that. Our chicken and duck coops, they're going to be moved to the north side of the house, so this will be gone. Plan is out here, big deck, right here in the front of the house. And then a little herb garden. When we pull out the old septic tank, there'll be a medicinal herb garden. On the other side of the gazebo is where my garden is going to go. So, are you going to show them, honey? Yeah. So out there will be the garden, a little hoop house, raised beds, and then some in-ground beds. Medicinal herb garden right here. About a 10-foot deck on the front of the house. See the window there? John was mowing. So far, John has cracked 3 solar panels and 1 big window, so he doesn't get to mow close to the house anymore. He gets to brush hog. He gets to stay far, far the hell away from the house. This will be our vermicomposting septic system. That's been filled in, but we'll dig that back out to finish that. We'll make some videos on that for you. So west side, no windows on the west side. Even though I have trees here, it would still come in and bake the house for a while. And we really aren't wanting to use AC. So come on in with me. Let's go see. The white windows you see and the windows that are on the mudroom and 1 window in the bedroom are the only ones we paid for. These great big ones we got for free off of Craigslist out of a little town close to Springfield, Missouri. So, and then the other windows, they're Quakers, and they were bought at a, what would you call that? The guy just gets
used window store, secondhand, B-stock.
From the company that's up in Missouri, and so we got those really cheap. Okay, our door's 8 foot tall. that helped determine the size that we needed for this wall. Come on in, honey. Come on in, people. This is our big room. Can't really call it a great room. I think it's 25 by 13, maybe. But we'll turn right here real quick. We built this house so that my mom would have an extra room. We kept adding on and changing our ideas, our plans. Because we were actually supposed to have a big round light straw clay house. But this is what was presented that we could build, and we paid for cash for all of this. That's why it's not done. We're taking our time. This used to be our bedroom, but Mom went into the nursing home 3 months after we moved in. It sucked. But this is now John's office, and it's going to be our guest room. And what we're going to do is we're going to fill this whole wall up with closets, cabinetry, built-ins, and the queen-size bed will go up in a Murphy bed. And we'll be able to put it up so we'll have room, and we'll have storage, because right now, no closets anywhere in the house and no real storage. It'll be wonderful to have that. We're going to build those. But that's this room. I think this is 10 foot by 13. A little bit over 13. Are you showing off your little cute stuff, honey?
Yep.
So more work needs to be done in here, more organizing. All of this right here is supposed to be stuff John's selling. So, got to find a place for my hope chest that my dad built for me. You've seen videos where John just finished all this, and our stove works freaking awesome. It's an incredible stove. Plus, I just think it's beautiful. We closed up part of the window there. It was a window like in there with a... In fact, what we did was we turned these windows upside down. The transom's supposed to be up on top, but I didn't want the dogs to be able to put their little paws on a screen, so we flipped them. Same thing here, but we removed the bottom transom. So fireplace, and the wood stove was supposed to go in this location where the flooring's cut out, because I wanted it centrally located, but decided it would be best to put it in a corner that we don't use anyway. So we've gone through so many changes, I drove John crazy, changing my mind all the time. This is a pretty chandelier that I hadn't seen for 3 years since we moved in. And I finally got to put that up. It was great to see it again. John has a big screen that pulls down. At some point, he's going to have his projector hooked up. So, John is a big movie nut. And even though we're out here in the boons, he still gets to watch his movies. That's why we have wires hanging from the ceiling. Because when I say he's a movie nut, he also likes the sound.
This is all pre-wired for Dolby Atmos.
Let's put this back up. And so he's already put the 2 front speakers in the wall.
We're just waiting on a ceiling or a roof here. I mean,
A ceiling.
A ceiling to put these ceiling speakers in.
And what we're going to use in here is the rest of the shiplap that we just got planed by our good friend, and it's sitting out there on the trailer. That's why there's a trailer in the front yard. And hopefully by next week we'll have this ceiling and the little baby hallway done. So then John's got to rewire this one and move it over. So part of these cabinets I bought for my other house in Tulsa. and they came in handy here. We purchased some other ones for real cheap back in Oklahoma. I've been carrying some of this walnut with me for probably almost 30 years. And we bought this live edge and this one. And the same good friend, Richard, who planed our shiplap, put all this together for me, planed it all, and then I sanded it, got it in place. I'm in love with walnut. John finally finished the back of my island. We put some more of our corrugated metal that we had for the roof. Now, behind the stove, we were actually hoping to do creek rock that we gathered down at our creek, but it was too time consuming and I'd have to learn how to become a mason. So I thought it'd probably be better just to have heat this year. So we went ahead and put up the corrugated metal behind. We have a walnut, a live edge walnut slab that we're going to use from here back for the mantle. Then there will be walnut that goes down to the floor on each side. And then we'll trim out the windows in walnut. All of our windows will be trimmed out in the door. But this is my tiny little kitchen. This, we have to build a new one. Cut it down, same length as the upper cabinet, so I can move my beautiful stove on down. And then, right now we're just using, what is this called?
It's Advantech.
Advantech that I put poly on, that the same poly I used on the flooring. Now the flooring doesn't have Advantech. This was 1/2 inch, just OSB board. It's holding up pretty good, but where John sits and rolls around and does work out here on the table, he's kind of beat the hell out of it. Everywhere else though, it seems to be doing okay. We had to fill that in. So what we did was what we cut out of the floor for the fireplace or the wood stove over there, we put in here. Not the prettiest, but if we decide to put something else down, we can just fill all this in and not even remove what we've already put down. But John took a freezer, an upright freezer, and turned it into a refrigerator for me, so it would use less power on our solar system. And then I've got this island. We're going to finish off all of this. He did build me, check this out. It's really cute. I don't know how we're going to tie it all in. I only had one ugly little light hanging down, and I haven't found anything I like. We had to go up higher because of the header above the window with the outlet. So we'll fix all that in. He'll make this really pretty for me, but it was wonderful to finally get light. And this has taken over a year, folks. I mean, it's still like a major work in progress, as you can see. Patience on the homestead. Dog hair in the mouth. We're going to do up above the Vent-A-Hood. He's going to use what's left of the shiplap and build me a Vent-Hood cover all the way up. It'll look really pretty. It'll tie in nicely with the ceiling. This is my 1950s Tappan that we found in Wichita, Kansas for $250. I do need to send in and get my temperature gauge, thermostat, fixed, but check this out. This baby is in perfect condition. I mean, a little dirty. We didn't clean everything for you, but I love my stove. I can't open the broiler all the way because it keeps dinging the refrigerator. 1950s.
But why did you get it?
I got it because my other gas stove we brought over from Tulsa with an electronic thermostat ate up energy like you wouldn't believe. I couldn't cook at night. So I started looking, and found this. And all you have to do to adjust this for propane or natural gas is there's a little, I'll show you. Just this down here. You adjust these. That's all you have to do. It's not like you have to put in, what were those that we had to put in the other one?
Orifices.
Yeah, we did not have to go through that. So, all in all, I'm in love with this. I love to bake. Can't wait to get this working perfectly. Come on down the hallway. A little baby hallway. This little contraption John built, because this was Mom's room. This was to keep all the dogs out of her area, and it works great keeping them out of our new bedroom area too. So, come on in, honey. Bathroom, far from being done. Bathtub, I wanted to put in a 6-foot bathtub here, but you got to go with the flow because there was a floor joist right underneath it we couldn't cut through, so we had to bump back. Here we added an inch, took an inch off the tub area so that we could get our piping in and miss the joist. So that meant I went with a 5-foot tub. We were hoping for 6 foot so John could fit in it, and he built me my little shelf. So this will all be tiled all the way up to the ceiling. Probably do a wood ceiling in here. I got my fan because it gets so hot in here. John's made an exhaust, or put our exhaust up there. That's going to go in, of course, when we get the ceiling put in. We've also left wiring up here to hopefully put in a whole house fan to get it cooler in the summer, because most of the time we do not have a big enough solar system, battery bank yet to operate with things that suck energy through the night, right, honey?
Air conditioning.
Air conditioning, and what else? So we'll finish this off. Come on, come on. Our bedroom. Tiny. When we build, this whole wall will be built-ins too. Then the bed can go back. It's sticking out about 18 inches. We'll have space because John has to crawl through there to get around. We put the heater in here so Mom would have some heat back in this area. I usually have it off. Even when it's 20 degrees outside, we turn that sucker off because it's better to sleep in a cool environment. And plus, I don't like the smell of propane. It makes my throat scratchy and I cough all night. So this is all of our clothes. This is mine. That's John's. Of course, you can see how he's he has more clothes than me. I don't have that many clothes. Our shoes under the bed. This is it though. So we switch out in the little trailet out there. We have a Rubbermaid tub for our seasonal clothes. We switch out. This is it. This is all we got. I can't wait for you guys to see it finished. I can't wait for it to be finished. Well, I can wait. I've waited 14 months already. Come on. Now this is an addition to the addition to the addition. 3 additions. Mainly it was supposed to just be the big room with the bathroom. Then we added 2 bedrooms. Now we've added the mud room. John bartered out that in trade, so it was built for us because we were exhausted from building for a year. Probably not the most optimum layout. If I would have known we had enough metal left over, I would have bumped it out 8 foot, but this only came out 6.5 foot. So this is 6 foot wide because we have 6-inch walls. And it's 20 foot wide, but with the walls, it's only 19. You want to explain who you really are, John? You're like a big techno wire nerd is what I call it. He's a pain in the butt.
Internet box made its way here because we needed to make sure we had short runs of wire to our antenna outside. So this ended up being the best spot for it to get good signal.
Plus it's away from us.
And then this is hardwired, and it goes directly into a switch, which then hardwires everything in the house so that we can minimize our Wi-Fi usage at times. And then there'll be another spot up here for like a media player. And then this, I'm waiting to get the Dolby Atmos receiver here. So everything we actually had pre-wired through this outside wall, waiting until this room could be built. And I've got all that wiring and stuff just kind of there, ready to go. Of course, you know, CD player, DVD player, voltage, you know, line noise isolators and things like that. So, and then, you know, camera recording systems, everything we can see. We can keep an eye on the property when we're not here and all that good stuff.
Now, all you homesteading goddesses out there, he thinks he's leaving this open for the world to see. But, you know, feng shui, you can't walk into a crappy area. You can't walk in. This is all going to be changed at some point. You're not going to see all this clutter mess because it just messes with your head. It drives you crazy. So it's best to have...
Doesn't drive me crazy.
No, it doesn't drive him crazy at all. I don't know what's wrong with him. I think he's got wires instead of a nervous system. I think he could be a robot. The newest AI. I don't know. Anyway, it makes me insane. When you come into your house, you should have a nice, clear, pretty access that isn't all a clusterfuck. And so I want it all beautiful. Okay? So this will all at some point be changed. But this was just extra cabinets that we weren't going to get from him, but he just threw it in for the deal. We'll change all of this out. We got our freezer, our chest freezer out here. Works awesome. Uses not very much electricity. We have the only other heater we had in the house to heat the whole house right here. So what we would do is we would turn the heater on, turn the fan on backwards, and then any of the warm air that came in here would be pushed. This is our central heating system. Would be pushed into there. So John's office, until we got the stove hooked up, was pretty nippy. So he usually sat at the dining room table and messed up the floor. Down here, oh, this is our on-demand water heater. Oh, sorry. On-demand water heater. This is our water system, but our 2 pressurized tanks will someday be brought in to sit in here. This is our filter, water filter. It only goes to the cold faucet in the kitchen for the well, and before that we had the spring water.
That's for drinking water.
Yeah, just our drinking water. So right in this corner will be a built-in cabinet pantry. We'll probably leave that. On this wall, I hope to have some type of shelving built here so the dogs can get up and look out, because we're going to start leaving them in here. We put the doggy door in finally. The puppies have been in here. That's why there's so much mud when Mariah has puppies, which will happen again at the end of February, her last litter. But this will all of this mess will finally be cleaned up. We'll get the walls all done, and it'll feel awesome to walk into the house. That's a tip. If you want to feel good and your external environment is just a big mess, you got to straighten it up. I've lived with a mess now since we moved here, because we've been living in the trailer and then the tiny house, and nothing's been fixed. So in these appliances, our gloves, which will all go onto a coat rack and shelves to store that. I took all this back from John. He was putting tools in here. He still thinks this is his tool shed, but it's not. So all of this breakfast stuff in here, our Purium shakes and stuff in there. So these windows were purchased. I think we paid, how much for these?
I think $50 for both.
And then he threw in this great big picture window. I really didn't want it because it's on the north side of the house, but it's double paned. It's a nice window. It doesn't open, and at least I can let the dogs, all of our Papillons, climb up here and look out when we're gone. Anything else, honey? Anything else in there that I wanted to tell you about? I don't know. But then we come out. Before I went to Alaska this last year, we put in the fencing system so that John could actually leave the property and have the dogs outside. I went in May, came back at, I guess I was gone 3 weeks. So this worked out perfect. I think that's about it. And if you have any questions, just put it down in the comments. We'll answer them. We'll keep you apprised of all of our new developments, what we're going to do. Like after this weekend, hopefully we'll have the ceiling in, and you'll be able to see that. Big plans though, and one of them is a way to drain the water away from the house. So we've got things to do, but we really appreciate you guys watching, and just subscribe if you haven't already, and check us out on Facebook at Off Grid Homesteading. All right, guys, thanks. Have a nice one.